Hello, all of my crafty friends, and happy Sunday. Today we're going to do another Memorydex card. Today we're going to be using another Maymay set. This one is called Heaven Sent. I really like this set. Is very, it just seems very elegant to me. I really loved these images, so I am going to start working on playing with a mirror technique today. So we're going to bring in some Gina K Amalgam ink. I'm also going to be using my embossing bag and some gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. We're also going to try out these Arteza Metallic Watercolors, and I'm going to use my number 2 round brush from the Silver Brush Company. I'll be bringing in some Versamark Dazzle to use with my embossing, and I've already had my Cricut cut out my Memorydex card. I also cut a couple masks, one of the perfume bottle that I'm going to use, and then a square for the mirror that I'm going to make. So here we are. I am just bringing in my Misty. I'm going to go ahead and use my anti-static powder bag in order to make sure that I don't have any static or oils on that cardstock. And this was cut with watercolor paper. It's Canson watercolor paper. I will have it linked below. And so I'm going to put in this image, and I'm going to heat emboss it with some gilded embossing powder. And I wanted this to kind of resemble a vanity. That's the idea that I was going for when I had this in my mind. So I inked that up with the frosted Versamark Dazzle, and I'm going to coat that with the Brutus Monroe gilded embossing powder and heat that with the Wagner heat tool. So once I have that done, I did stamp that twice, and now I'm going to go on and I'm going to stamp the perfume bottle. Why do I keep forgetting the word perfume bottle today? I don't know. So I'm going to stamp out the perfume bottle, and we're going to stamp that down, and then I'm going to mask that off. So I'm going to put my mask on, and hallelujah, this time I stamped my mask on the right side. So we didn't have any difficulty with that. I didn't have to bring the pixie spray to the rescue. And then I'm going to take my square and I'm going to overlap that. And this is going to be where I will ultimately be creating my mirror. So once I've got the square kind of where I want it to be, I'm going to bring in a pencil, and I'm going to draw my outer edge around that part of the square. So just so I have kind of an outline of where the end of my mirror is, and the top that I cut out with the Cricut, in my mind that would be the top of the mirror. So I'm going to bring out these Arteza watercolors, and here are the colors. I haven't had a chance to swatch them out yet, and I actually have only played with them a tiny bit. So I'm going to be using some of the yellow and gold, the blues, the greens, and some purples in this set. So I just mixed together 2 of each color to kind of get the color that I was wanting. And where I did the what I'm going to call the vanity, beneath that part I'm going to paint down the green. Now you guys, I struggle with watercolor, so I'm just trying to work through and figure out. And what I did find out here is that layers make a difference, because as I kept building up my color, I was liking it more and more. So here you guys can see I've kind of changed the angle, so in hopes that you guys could see better what I'm doing. So please let me know in the comments if you guys like this angle, or if you prefer that overhead angle that I typically use, because I just want to be able to show you guys what I'm doing a little bit better, and I thought that changing one of the camera angles might be beneficial in that, but I would like to hear what you guys think. So here I am. I ended up doing about 4 layers in each of these areas. So the yellow gold color and the green color, I ended up doing about 4 layers. And as you can see, I'm just dropping down some water first, and then I'm bringing in my color. So that is considered a wet on wet technique. And then I would dry in between each layer. Now I will tell you that if you're using your heat gun and you have heat embossed, you need to be very careful because you can remelt your embossing powder if you continuously put heat back on there, especially with that being underneath the masking paper. So I'm just going through and adding in more and more color, and I won't show you guys all of the coloring, but I did want you guys to kind of get an idea of what I was doing when I was putting the watercolor on and kind of building up that color. I will tell you that I was happy with the end result of doing this experiment, although I don't feel like I'm great with watercolor. And the shimmer in these watercolors is amazing, and they're amazing on white. So I cannot wait to see what happens when I try to use this on some black cardstock, because as you know, metallics usually show up amazing. I'm trying to give you guys a look. If you guys can see that sheen there, it is so pretty. So I know that if it's showing up like this on the white color, then when I use black watercolor, it is probably going to blow my mind. So stay tuned for that. I think that I may try to do something with that because I do want to practice my watercoloring a little bit more. And as you guys know, I'm always up for bringing you guys on the journey with me to learning new things and progressing in my crafting. So I think that here we're on about the last layer of the watercoloring. And I just want to kind of give you guys a look of all the sheen. Like, it's so much sheen. Like, when it hits the light, it is amazing. I absolutely loved it. So, and then it also, depending on how you are looking at it, gave some texture to the wall. So that was also great. So now that I have this all done, I'm going to go in and finish drawing in the mirror portion of my scene. So I'm going to bring in my ruler because, of course, I can't draw straight lines. And what I did was I created kind of a diagonal line from that initial square that I made. And then I'm going to make another square inside that square that's a little bit smaller that will connect those small diagonal lines that I've created. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that on all four sides, and that will create, hopefully, that mirror look. Once I have it looking exactly the way that I want it to look, I'm going to go in with my Spectrum fine liners, and I am going to outline that in black. So then that will kind of be the deal sealer for this mirror look. I think it came out pretty well. You guys let me know what you think at the end. So once I've gotten the mirror created, I'm going to go in and I'm going to color around the mirror in kind of a copper. I used a copper and brown color, and I'm also going to do the actual mirror color. Now I used some blues for the mirror to kind of try to create that glass look. And so what I did was I did a wash of very light blue here, so you guys can see that that wash is coming on. And then I kind of did a darker blue coming up from the bottom going toward the top, and I tried to create some striations inside the mirror to show kind of a reflective piece. Now once we get all of this painted on, I'm going to go back and I'm going to stamp the reflection of the perfume bottle. Don't know why that word is so hard, no matter how many times I say it today. Perfume bottle. I'm going to go in and do the perfume bottle reflection in the mirror, and then I will paint that as well. I'm going to do that off screen because I don't want to make this too long, but I just was trying to show you kind of how the mirror came out looking, and again, that shimmer that I can't get enough of. So now I'm going in and I'm going to do the wood around the mirror, and again I used kind of a copper brownish color to do that. And again, this just takes a lot of I think watercoloring just takes a lot of patience, because typically when I've been doing watercolor, I want to like go back in and do the image again and just continue to do it. I learned in doing this one to do one area, allow that to dry, move on to something else, come back to that area if you need to, or like I said, using the heat tool to dry in between your layers so that you can really build up that color in creating your scene. And I was very happy with the results that came from this. Not saying that I've gotten to this point of I made it, but this is one of the first times that I felt comfortable with sharing watercoloring after I've done it. And this isn't the first time that I've done watercoloring. I've kind of played with it a little in the past, but I have not been to a point where I've gotten happy with it. Now you can see that I have some warping in here, and I did run that through my die cutting machine, and I also put it in between the plates of my die cutting machine, of my hand cranked one, and sat the die cutting machine on top of it. So here's the place where I am going to stamp out the reflection. Now when I do the reflection, I am going to the left of the image and up a little, so it kind of looks like a reflection in the mirror. So you can see that it's kind of offset when I am stamping this down. So once I stamp this down, and I don't think that I leave all of that coloring on the inside the video, I will paint. I will take off the what am I trying to say? I'm gonna take off the release paper. I can't remember the word that I want to use. My masking paper, that's the word that I'm looking for. I'm going to take off my masking paper after I stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to paint both of my perfume bottles. So once I've done that, this is kind of what we end up with. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it came out really nice. I love that sentiment, "You are heaven sent," that play on words, and I would love to know what you guys think and how you thought this doing a mirror image came out. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.